guys, I'm Adam and welcome back to my channel where I make a tabletop role-playing game from scratch on camera. In today's episode, we're actually going to talk about artwork, formatting, and confidence. Before we start today's episode, I just want to remind you of the 96 likes. Before I started this project of Explorers RPG, I've been using this book to just note down different stuff that is role-playing related. And, well, all of this is fun and interesting for world builders, for role players, and so on. So 96 likes, and I will go through all the 96 pages that I have here. And while you're down there, please press the subscribe button because, well, I want subscribers. Now, when I started out designing my own role-playing game, I started out, maybe as many of you others did, by being angry at D&D for not providing me with the entertainment that I want, trying to fix it, and then ultimately just be sucked into the void that is RPG designing. And I'm still just a hobbyist. I have no formal training. I don't know how or what I'm supposed to do, and I'm just doing stuff as I learn along the way, and I'm just doing whatever I think is fun. And there's one thing that I've been doing all of this time, and that is just to have one large document that I just constantly add. It's a draft. I have some rules, I have some ideas, I have some math. It's just piling up on just different stuff that is just, this is my role-playing game, I know how to navigate this document, but it's not for you to look at. And the problem with me having it this way is that I never seem to get a finished product. I always have a draft. It's never good enough to sit down and say, now I've finished all the rules, I can sit down, now I can format, create the artwork, and then produce something that I'm proud of. But now, with this channel, and actually before this channel, I changed this idea of having constantly a draft. And I think you should too. Okay, so this here, this is my OneNote. This is where I, well, make my role-playing game. And as you can see, it's quite a mess. It started first out as like just a role-playing game campaign, and then it started out with the rules. And as you can see here, it's very a lot of stuff, right? You have just notes and different ideas, and yeah, it doesn't work. Here's the final rules, of course, which again, you start to have like stuff around here, which again led to the final rules number 2, which again is not finished. And I've just continuously just made a role-playing game just continuously as a huge draft. And it's not a fun way to do this. It's not rewarding at all. You just constantly sit there and look at your text and try to figure out what's wrong with it. Yeah, here. That's reassuring. Yeah. So as you can see here, I'm constantly just working through my draft, trying to figure out what works and what doesn't work, but nothing really works because it's still constantly it's just a huge wall of text that, of course, it is important and it works, but it's not rewarding for me. I don't see the end of this tunnel that is my role-playing game. And this is actually where the confidence and motivation is lacking. I can't see an end to this project because, well, it's just constantly lying here doing this. But by using formatting and artwork and so on, I can actually see a small progression in whatever I'm doing. I mean, of course, 90% of the work is here. This is the 90% of doing the role-playing, the fundamentals and the design and the gameplay loops and all of these things, that those are fundamental to make a role-playing game fun and interactive. But it's not rewarding to actually make those 90% unless you actually spend a little bit on the 10% that is formatting, artwork and art style and so on. This leads me to this here 2-page spread right here. This is 2 pages of a draft that I did of Explorers RPG before I made this YouTube channel. And as you can see, it has all the rules of the attributes that I previously had in the game series, and it's changed now. But as you can see, it's very good to look at these 2 pages. And again, the role-playing game itself, it could easily be 100 pages, so these 2 would basically just be 2% of the whole thing. But it's a finished 2%. It has all the formatting, it has tables set up like this, and it has fonts, it even has an artwork, and I spent a couple of days on this artwork. And this is my point, that it's really rewarding to see these 2 pages, and whenever I see that I need motivations to make more rules or stuff, I can look at this and see, yeah, this is what my finished product will be in the end. And again, I can see it now in the vertical slice edition as well. As you can see here, it starts to become a real product. I mean, it's not finished, definitely not finished, but as you can see, it's 12 pages of something, of my role-playing game. Even though my role-playing game might be, well, 100 pages or 200, or I mean, my plans is 500 when it comes to the whole castle thing, but it's something. It's something that I could be proud of, and something that I can put out on the internet and say, yeah, this is what I'm working on. I'm not halfway there. I'm barely made a dent in the whole project, but this is something that I can show to you. But then again, if you're not a designer or you don't have any fancy software or anything, I mean, you can easily use some of the online versions of stuff like Homebrewery or anything. And I mean, this is something that I made 4, 5 years ago, something, 3 maybe, I don't know. But as you can see here, I made this in Homebrewery online. It's actually GM Binder, but it's the same thing. You can see it is something. You got some art here, and you got some stuff. I mean, eventually I scrapped all of this because it doesn't work well. But again, it keeps the motivation up to have like lists of stuff and all of these things, and it helps you actually look at things and see yourself and your work as a product, as something that you can be proud of, and something that you can, well, get motivation and inspiration from. And all of these things right here, since this isn't a plan to make public in any way, so I mean, I just used some art that I think looks cool, and yeah, and you can do that too. It's as long as you give credit when it's needed, and all of those things. You don't need to buy a bunch of art or learn to draw yourself. I mean, if you want to, sure, do that, but if not, just ask somebody else for help. And this is the lesson that I learned through making the vertical slice edition, is that just make something. Take a small slice of your role-playing game, something that you think is, well, it's okay, it's decent, it's almost finished, or it is completely finished, and then work that extra 10% and put in the effort to make something that looks very good on paper, and be proud of it. And it doesn't take long, it takes a couple of days to do this. Making this here, it took me maybe 3 days of time. So yeah, just go and do it, and you will be rewarded with a lot of confidence, and you can show it to people and actually get a good feedback from it. So yeah, go out there and gain some confidence. And that was it for today. I'm almost finished with Vertical Slice Edition now, and it's right around the corner, so please hang tight. And the grand reveal was a very fun video to make, so I really got to flex some video editing skills. So yeah, I hope you enjoy that, and please remember to like, share and subscribe, and please comment down in the comment section if you actually have one of these, if you have a link to these on Google Docs or something. I would really like to see something that you made for a role-playing game, or maybe something else that you're really proud of that you made. And share this with your GM because it'll probably like it, and I'll see you next time.